Good morning. I'm Tanya Dotson, as you just heard, and my what's it is my suit. Because I noticed I'm the only woman here wearing a suit, and I did this on purpose because when I bought this suit, I was like really, really happy for the suit. So I thought, I don't care what everyone else is wearing, I'm wearing my suit, okay? So, hope you enjoy it. I'm here to talk about time management. Like Sam said, we met online, and it's really interesting about this whole Twitter thing because I wasn't impressed. I didn't understand what the whole Twitter thing was about. And since I started tweeting with Irish Biz Party and tweeting with Sam, I think I've gotten like 40 followers, you know, and 40 followers that stay. No, well, I mean, for me, that's huge, you know, because my whole experience with Twitter was stop, start, stop, start. People would follow, then they'd go away, and, you know, like that. But anyway, my thing is time management. I am a time management guru. And, you know, I know that sounds a little bit like, but actually it's a name that my clients gave me and that I'm finally starting to accept and take on. And it's because I look at time management in a completely different way. And I was having dinner last night with a couple of people, and they were asking me, you know, what about time management? What about time management? And as you can see from my presentation here, I claim that time is not the enemy. And they were like, well, how can you claim that? And, you know, so I gave them a little bit of my background, you know, with the 2 companies that I've started. This is my latest company. It's called Synergy People, over there. And then I thought, you know, and then we're sitting and we're talking, we're having the normal chat about your business and what you do. And they're, oh, that's very interesting. That sounds really good. I really need that. And then I thought, well, what I actually do is I give you an experience of time management. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have some fun. Okay, so it's not going to be your regular, you know, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to point to stuff and you're going to go, oh, that's really nice. I'm going to actually have you engage in your own time management. So, you ready? Yeah. Okay, good. So, this is, you know, what I normally present. If time is not the enemy, who is? And then you've got, you know, your regular, your list of the usual suspects. You know, you've got your to-do list, you've got your busy work. You've got distractions, you've got interruptions. I've been working a little with Ian on Twitter where we were talking about those, what was it, juggling and distractions and interruptions. And, you know, at first he was kind of arguing with me, but, you know, you have to be there for your client and you have to be, you know, right there on the spot. And I was like, no, you don't. And he's like, yes, you do. And I was like, no, you don't. And we went back and forth, and I gave him a couple of things about scheduling, about sacred scheduling. And actually, you know, once we had gotten through that, he was like, oh, I see. So this is how I work. I actually work with something that is behind your time management or up underneath your time management. So, you know, we've got, like I said, the usual suspects here, hiring the right people for the wrong job, all that stuff, right? Yeah, that's great. And then you've got your time killers, you know, blah, 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 you know, the suppliers, your emails, your phone calls, your meetings, your Twitter, your Twitter account, and all of this stuff. So you could write all of this down and go, yeah, that's right. That's what interrupts me. Yeah. That's what doesn't allow me to get my other stuff done. You know, the really important stuff, the busy stuff. You know, the stuff that gives me money. And you know, I'd go, yeah, that's right. But it would make absolutely no difference because this is the result of killing time, just chasing your tail. Can you relate to this at all, or am I just like talking into air? Okay, good. Just making sure we're all on the same page. Great. So, you know, I don't want to have you chase your tail today. You know, I want to actually give you something that you're going to be able to take away and go, oh, and have an experience of what your own time management is like. So, this is the key. It's not about freeing up more time, it's about doing less. You know, and you're like probably saying to yourself, I can't possibly do less. You know, that's going to cost me money. I'm going to have to hire people if I want to do less. And then we've got, but then there's the believe it or not, and the believe it or not is that it's not only possible to accomplish more by doing less, it's mandatory. You've got to stop doing all that stuff that you're doing. So why? Well, you know, here's the argument. Find yourself in one of these arguments, please. I really invite you to find yourself. But if I don't do it, who will? Who's in that one? If I don't do it, who's going to do it? Okay, great. You don't know my business. Don't be afraid to raise your hand. I'm not, you know, taking pictures up here, taking account. If you want something done right, ... Who's in that one? Yeah, okay, good, that's most of the room. Yeah, good. So what's your favorite argument? Anybody? Just shout it out. What's your favorite argument for not doing less? If I don't do it, who will? Yeah, great. Who else? Can you have all of them? Yes, you can have all of them. Yes, you may have all. You don't have to choose. Anybody have one that's not up here? That would be interesting, because I think I've like, oh, sorry, I'm in the way. Always someone else that's mucking up the work. Business partner refuses to do more, so I've got to take on his load as well. Yes. That's a good one. I'm going to have to add that. Hope someone captured that for me. Not saying no. Ooh, that's a good one. I got to add that as well. Not saying no. Who doesn't know how to say no? Yeah. Come on, mothers. Come on, raise your hands. Good. I heard something else. What will people think of you? Nice one. Yeah. You're not working hard enough. You're not doing everything. Who do you think you are? Like that. You're going on vacation. Oh, this is the one I get all the time. Are you going on vacation again? Like they must think, that I'm like, I don't know, a criminal or something. Like, how could you have that much money? You're never working. I never see you work. Yeah? Good. Any more? It has to get done. Yeah.
If I take time out, I'll be lazy.
Oh, yeah. If I take time out, I'll be lazy. Yeah. And oh my God, what'll happen then? Down that slippery slope. Anyone else? Good. Thank you for playing along. We're going to play along some more, so that's great. That's a good warm-up that got you talking. So guess what? Everybody on the planet. This is what flipped it for me. This statement right here. Everyone on the planet gets 24 hours in a day. Because I was under the impression that I was getting cheated somehow. Somehow, it was somebody that, had a market on time, and I was getting cheated. Now, you have to understand, the next things that we're going to do, I've tried all this on myself. I've tried all this on my business, and it really does work. The first thing for me, and I think would give you an edge or a leg up at least, is everyone gets 24 hours in a day. There's no racket going on. There's not, some sort of, time warp bank that some people have access to that you don't. We all get 24 hours a day. Heads of state to the rest of us. And why does it seem like people can get more done with the same amount of time than you can? What's that? What is it like? Why is it like that? I say it's because it's all in your mindset. And that's where I work. I don't give tips. You're not going to get any time management tips from me today. I'm sorry, if that's what you were looking for. But you are going to get access to your mindset. You're going to get access to how you think about time. So let me just, we're going to do some fun experiments and some fun tests, but let me just give you a little bit something. Because if you don't believe me, how many of you have already had at least 3 thoughts about how I'm dressed? And my hair. I love your hair, right? Exactly, And my hair. And the biggest one that Ian and I were messing around with last night. What was it, Ian? What was it? He doesn't want to talk about it. It was about, we were having this conversation. He goes, yeah, that's so American. And he didn't mean it. And I cracked up laughing because it's like, I'm sitting right here, and we've been chatting along, and we've been having drinks, and it had just gone into the background that I'm American. And he just was like, bleh. He even tweeted me this morning saying, I'm so sorry about that. And he said, thanks for taking it that way. But I knew it had nothing to do with me personally, but it was funny to see how all these thoughts go on in the background. Sometimes they escape out of our mouths without us being aware of them. And that's the big key to time management, what you think about it. So let's have a little bit of fun. Oh, not yet. Not that one yet. Okay. I want you to put everything that you have down and make some space so that you can actually stand up and sit down without anything happening, anything untoward happening. If you have any issues standing up and sitting down, when I'm doing this experiment with you, just raise your arms and put them down, okay? So we're going to have a thought experiment right now. I'm going to time it because we're not going to go over a minute. You're going to see how long a minute can be. Hang on, I'm getting my timer all set up here because I'm only going to do this for a minute. Timer, 1 minute. Good, 1 minute. All right. So I am going to give you 2 sets of instructions, and only 2 sets of instructions. And the invitation is to follow my instructions to the T. Okay? That's it. It's really simple. And like I said, if you cannot stand up or sit down because of some physical disability or something that's put your hands up in the air and put them down as I'm giving the same instructions. All right? Are you ready? You guys ready to play? Yeah. All right. Here we go. 1 minute. Stand up. Sit down. 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 Stand up. I told you a minute's a long time. Sit down. Stand up. Sit down. Stand up. Sit down. Ooh, it's being tweeted about me now. Stand up. Sit down. 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 Oh, yeah, try not to talk. Stand up. Sit down. Stand up. Not too long. Sit down. Stand up. And sit down. Now, before you get talking to your neighbor, I want you to think about how many thoughts were flying through your head as you were doing that exercise, right? And you can write this down. If you take a piece of paper, take your notebook there, draw a line down the middle. On the left side, put a big S, and on the right side, put a big H. And these are what I call your stop and hop thoughts. This is a process, the stop and hop thoughts. So on the side with S, write down what got you to either slow down or stop. I noticed some people that started standing up and sitting down, and then they switched to the arm raise, you know. So I'm not going to point at anybody. But I just want you to write down what were the thoughts that had you either slow down from the instructions or had you stop or had you switch methods. Go ahead. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to write down your stop thoughts. Thoughts that had you slow down, had you stop completely and go like, she's, woo. Whatever your thought was, write it down. And then when you're done with that, go over to the other side of the other column and write down your hop thoughts. What were the thoughts that kept you going? Even when what are the thoughts that just had you keep going with the exercise? You don't have to share these thoughts. You don't even have to share them with me. I just want you to get them. So it's interesting. Some people are starting to giggle like, oh. So here's the thing. You can continue, carry on doing that. You can carry on doing that for the rest of the day. What I want you to do now is to transform that from the exercise into pick an episode of something that happened last week, something that mattered to you, not just, oh, I went grocery shopping or I brushed my teeth. Take an instance from the last week, an instance that mattered to you. Write another column, put the instance on top, write another, make another column, and then on the left side, put your stop thoughts, and on the right side, put your hop thoughts. What were the things that either had you stop doing what you said you were going to do, or what you wanted to do, or what was going on in the instance, your business partner from the guy in the back, What were your stop thoughts? And on the other side, what were your hop thoughts? What kept you going? What had you finish? What had you complete what you were up to? What had you keep going in that, in that episode this past week? Now pick another one. Just pick another episode from last week. You can do this, ad nauseum. This is just an opportunity for you to start getting what stops you and what keeps you going. And this is how I work. This is how I work with time. It's not about, thought. Exercise we just did, or from this thing that happened, this episode that happened over the last week. Anybody? Just throw them out there. Yeah, no one wants to talk about their stop thoughts. That's silly. Okay, great. Yeah, that's silly. That's a stop thought. If you think something is silly, you're not going to do it, and there you go. Yeah, great. I'm sorry, say it. I hate repeating things. Ooh, yeah, that's difficult with time management, isn't it? I hate repeating things. Really great, yeah. Just stop. No, I'm not doing it. Just stop. Yeah, great. Anybody else? Stop thoughts? You're a failure? Fear of failure? What's the thought? What do you actually say to yourself? Because in the back of your mind, it's not going fear of failure, fear of failure, fear of failure. I can't really do this. Anybody else? Me and Twitter, I can't really do this until I did it. Right? Great. Anyone else? This won't work long term. You nip it in the bud right there. You never even get out of the block, right? I need more energy for this. Yeah, great. So here we go. We're stopping. Are you guys starting to see? These thoughts are going on 24. Okay, they're not going on when you're sleeping, but all of your waking hours, there are all these thoughts in the background. That's what's controlling your time management. It's not the hours in the day. It's not people who are asking you to do stuff. It's what you're thinking about the hours in the day and what people are asking you to do. So that was just a little bit of one of the myriad of exercises that I have people do when they want to work on their time management, because time management is simple, but it's not easy. It's about getting in touch with yourself first and foremost. So we're going to do another exercise in a minute. This one is going to freak you out. I guarantee it, because it freaked me out. All right? So here, being busy, this is the thing. This is from Tim Ferriss, who wrote The 4-Hour Workweek. Anybody read The 4-Hour Workweek? Yeah. This guy, first, when I started doing time management, this was my Bible. This was the first book I read, and I thought, this guy's out of his mind. Nobody can run a business or businesses 4 hours on 4 hours a week. That's impossible, right? And then I started seeing what he's talking about. Being busy is most often used as a guise for avoiding the few critically important but uncomfortable actions. Stop thoughts. I can't do this. I'm going to look silly. No one's going to believe me. I don't like repeating things. Critically important. So you busy yourself with all kinds of other stuff. And I call them distractions. We're going to go into those in about 5 minutes. But one of my busy things, when there was something confronting me that I didn't want to do, it was like, oop, I found myself on Facebook. How did that happen? And 3 hours later, oop, I found myself on TED Talks, following links. And then it'd be like, what happened to my afternoon? I was at my desk. I looked busy. If you could see the other side of the screen, if you were sitting over there, you'd have seen me madly going from thing to thing and listening, and it looked like I was doing, but what I had set myself up for that day was doing something I found uncomfortable. Anybody can agree? Anybody relate to that? So it's like, oh, not doing that, but you don't say that. You don't say to yourself, oh, I'm not doing that because that's really uncomfortable. You find yourself doing all kinds of other things, and then you go, what happened to my time? Yeah? Cool. The other one is, perfection is not when there is no more to add but no more to take away. You really want to start streamlining stuff now. And again, I didn't think that was possible, and I'm living proof that it is. Just a little bit of my background. This is my second business, and I would say, in my first business, time had me. In this business, I have time. So this business is a consulting business. I do time management, and I also do tribal leadership, which is an organizational program for organizational change. And I'm here, there, and everywhere. I think Sam was trying to actually figure out, where does she live? But I've been living in Copenhagen, Denmark for the last 26 years. I moved back to the love of my life in New York. I'm actually in New Jersey, but no one says that. So I'm in Newark, New Jersey. But so I moved back 3 months ago. I have clients everywhere because I learned that I don't need to be everywhere and I don't need to be everything to everybody. So I work a lot over Skype. And this is like travel fun. I get to go around and do conferences and stuff because I now have the time to do them. If Sam had asked me this, I started this business in 2008. I started the time management in 2011. 2010. I would have said, I'm sorry, I don't have the time. I'm too busy. Now when people ask me to go do stuff, it's like, yeah, when? So I split my time between New Jersey. I'm sometimes in Denmark, and and then I'm in Belfast. Yeah. So okay, we're going to do the next exercise. It's going to be this is going to freak you out. This is the test to show you that what I'm saying is not nonsense and it's actually possible. If you only had 2 hours to work a day, what would you do after you panicked? Okay, this is the panic face. Every time I do this exercise, it's like 2 hours a day. You must be out of your mind. But let's say most of us are entrepreneurs. Most of us are sole traders. If you had that, unfortunate heart attack or, something happened and you had to run your business 2 hours a day, what would you do? I'm going to give you another minute to look at that. And it's going to be interesting for you to figure out, what would you do? Go ahead. I got that. No fixing the hair. Hope the makeup still works. Hi. Again, it's interesting how long a minute is. You've got about 30 seconds left. What would you attend to? Got another 20 seconds. Got another 10 seconds. See, this is hands-on how I work with time. Ding. Okay. What'd you get out of that? Just shout it out. What did you get out of having a minute to set up your day if you only had 2 hours to work because your doctor said so? This is really like, if you work more than 2 hours, you're going to die. You'll die. Okay? What would you do? Rob a bank. Okay. That's proactive. I haven't had that response before, but good luck.
Stuff that'll generate income.
Okay.
The time killer stuff.
What's the time killer stuff?
Queries, stupid queries, repeat queries. That guy's in trouble. I don't want to deal with him. I'm not dealing with him. He's not worth it. Good luck.
Yeah. Awesome. Great job. Great job. You'd get after the money. Good. And send out the get your money in. Hey. Oh, we're so bad at that. Why are we so bad at that? Sending out those yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. That's why we're so bad at it, because we're trying to do it ourselves. Great. So send out the invoices to get in the money. What else would you do? You have 2 hours to work or you're going to die. Train your staff. Great. Awesome. What's been happening that your staff... Don't let that go. You've been doing everything. There you go. Won't hand over. Now, this is your business partner right here? There you go. It's like, I need more time. No. I need more time. No. Let me do that for you. No. And your reasoning has been, I know you don't want to say it with her there, but, okay. Controlling, yeah. No one can do it as well as I can. Oh, I know. Here come the excuses. Oh, she's great, but she's awesome. But I'm just not going to give her anything to do, you know. And then I'm going to, at the end of the day, wonder why she's sitting there looking very refreshed, you know. And you're like, oh my God, it's been a long day. Yeah, great. Anyone else?
Be organized.
Be organized, yeah. Now, what's not organized now that if you had only 2 hours to work and that's it, would get organized?
I have everything out. Instead of having out when I'm doing that project at the moment, I have everything out. It's a hand, but I actually don't need hand stuff. But it's just there.
Right.
So be more organized, more constructive.
More construct, awesome. Yeah, that's what I call, there's sacred scheduling, and that's like getting everything in its place to be done at this time. And we're really bad at that because we're like, oh, easily distracted. We're going to do that in a moment. Anybody else before I go on? How'd you like that exercise? Did it freak you out? You know it did. 2 hours to work. Your heart must have been, oh! That's what happened to me when I first did it. But then it was really interesting what actually happened. It was like, oh, I started getting stuff done. So, time killers. This is also my promise to people that work with me. I will do away with your to-do list. You will never, ever, ever have a to-do list again. Not never. I know. It's just, now we're panicking. Good. Now we got some panic going. Yeah, okay, I thought I was losing my touch. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because here's the thing about to-do lists. That's stuff to be done. It's not stuff getting done. One of my clients had, and I'm going to invite you to look at this for yourself. Have you ever had an item on your to-do list, I know you have, that keeps coming up and keeps going back to the bottom of the to-do list? Keeps coming up, keeps coming back to the bottom of the to-do list. My client had something that had been on her to-do list for 30 years. No kidding. You can look on my LinkedIn page and see she wrote it herself. 30 years. During the lunch break on our training session, she handled that thing. And she's now doing it. And what it was getting a driver's license. And on the break, she took it off her to-do list. She put it in her schedule, lunch break, sign up for driving lessons. She is now a driver in London. Been on her to-do list for 30 years. So check your to-do list out and see if there's something on there that you're just kind of, one day, someday it'll get done, but it's never going to get done. Lots of stuff on your to-do list doesn't get done. Then you move it on to the next day, and then that messes up the next day's schedule, and there you go. There's your time, right there, right? Busy work, I told you all about that, when you're sitting behind your computer looking busy because you don't want to do what there actually is to do. So I'm going to ask you to look at what are your top 3 activities that you use to fill time to feel as though you've been productive. What are your top 3 activities that you use to fill time so as to feel as if you've been productive? You know it's not productive, but it makes you feel like you've been productive. Just 3 things. Those 3 top activities. And once you've done your 3 top activities, what are your 3 favorite distractions? Yeah, I put my hand up. Facebook, TED Talk, and looking out the window. Yeah, those are my 3. I'm just gone, So you can write that down now. You can write that down later. It's a takeaway for you to do. But remember, 3 top activities used to feel as though you've been productive. 3 favorite distractions. Moving on. Let's look at some of this stuff, all right? Hangover habits. This is another thing that I train people in, and I call them hangover habits because they're habits that we have dragged with us since we were in school. It was the stuff that we use, is the habits that we had that we used to skate by the skin of our teeth through our exams, A-levels, O-levels, university, when all you basically had to do was your laundry. Okay, you may have still been living at home. You didn't have to shop. You didn't have to, do all the stuff you do have to do now as an adult, especially an adult with a business. So I call these hangover habits. You remember how we used to be able to go and party from Thursday till Sunday, right? You can't do that anymore. But sometimes we act like we do, and then we have to take a 3-day recovery. If we don't end up in the hospital. All right. So it's a hangover habit. So Here's one. Waiting until the last minute. Sounds like you? Anybody? Yeah. And people, they'll argue with me. No, it's good to wait till the last minute because then I know it has to get done and then it's going to get done. Sounds like procrastination to me. Yeah, or being disorganized. Sorry, that sounds like being disorganized to me. I work so well. I work best under pressure. Who's those people? Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, that's procrastination. Yeah, if there is one, that's when you're just pushing and pushing and pushing, and try and identify when you started this habit. Was it in 8th grade, or was it, we have a different school system, but was it in high school? Was it when you went to uni? Was it when you had your first job? How young are your habits is what I'm looking for. Multitasking. Who are our mamas? Our multitasking mamas in here. Yeah, everybody just raise your hand. Exactly, Multitasking. I'll just do this other thing while I'm doing this thing, because I can do 2 things at once because I'm that good. No, you're not. No one's that good. You're just unfocused, okay? And with here's the thing with multitasking. Our brain, it's scientifically proven. I'm not just saying this to be insulting. It's scientifically proven that we cannot hold on to 2 cognitive tasks at the same time without one of them suffering. We just can't do it. Now, you can walk and chew gum, but you cannot be writing a proposal while, trying to be present for your children when they come in. Mommy, look at my drawing. You're like, yeah, that's right, that's nice, honey. Yeah. While you're trying to do 2 things at once, okay? Cool. What we got here? So then there's just, the stuff that I talk about being effective versus being efficient. You've got your efficiency is door-to-door salesmen. Those are those people that like to do everything themselves, right? That's efficient, but that's not effective, okay? Checking your emails 30 times a day. Efficient, not effective, right? So that's just that I work with people on. Elimination. And this is from the martial arts master Bruce Lee. One does not accumulate but eliminate. It is not daily increase but daily decrease. The height of cultivation always runs to simplicity. It's really about, you're trying to get a laser focus on what you're up to and a laser focus on your life. Not, it's easy, but it's not simple. And there he is at work. Do one thing at a time fully. I love this little girl. I love this photo because, she's dancing fully. She is being fully just expressed and creative. When's the last time you did something, one thing, fully? Everyone's laughing like, what's she talking about? I don't do anything. Don't do anything fully. I'm at it, doing everything at once, right? And not being present to any of it, right? So these are some of the tools that I use. Multiple put downs. This is how you take that multitasking off the table, right? And multiple put downs is because your brain is brilliant at running processes in the background. It's just awful at multitasking. You've got batching. You've got the 80-20 principle or Pareto's law. There's the hop, stop, thought processes I just took you through. Then there's core value-based leadership. That's where you can actually start running your organization according to your and your staff or your people, I call them your tribe, core values, rather than this hierarchy of who's better than whom at doing what when, And this last one, E is for elimination. This is what 180-degree time management makes available. And I call it 180-degree time management because you really have to flip the thing on its head. You have to do a complete, this is what the not easy part is. Simple, but not easy. You would think it was simple to just do this. Make an about face. But we've been doing what we've been doing, and we've been having these processes running our time management for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, ever since we left school, ever since we started our first company or where we started our first job. That's that's the challenge. So when you turn around 180 degrees, what you get available is creativity, peace of mind, space, development, work-life balance, that whole thing about sending out your invoices, time is money. Ian, when we did this over Twitter, you said, I asked you what would be possible if you weren't juggling and being distracted by your clients all the time. I said, what would your workday look like? And he said, smooth. I love that. I'm totally stealing it. So what would it be like if your work day, your work life, your home life, work-life balance, everything was smooth? Yeah? Let me see if I got anything else for you. Oh, I do. So this is what happens with this is what time management, 180-degree time. I named it that myself. I'm the only one that does this. I've looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find it anywhere. So, what do we creative people do when we can't find something? We invent it. So I invented this. I never thought I could do something like that, but I was like, I want to have it all. I want to have access to travel. I want to be able to be in my relationship when I'm in my relationship. I want to be able to be with my friends. I used to be terrible. This thing ran my life, okay? And if it's running yours, I invite you to have a conversation with me over one of these breaks, because it was going off during dinner, anytime it lit up. I was a crazy person during my first business. This thing had me jumping out of showers, okay? Because, it could be a client, I wouldn't even trust the voicemail, I had to be available 24/7 because it could be a client, which almost killed me on a few occasions, right? So between this and my computer, you couldn't get my attention. Not really. Not during my first company. I wasn't really there. I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. So basically what I got access to, and I'd like to give you access to, is it exposes all the stuff you're not consciously aware of. Hop, stop, stand up, sit down, and which is working against you and stealing your time. It upgrades your habits and your practices, this whole thing about your hangover habits and the practices that you have that distract you and eat up your time, and to restore your precious freedom, and it transforms the way you work and the way you think about work. So I'm just going to, this is one of the things, I could stand here and talk all day about what my clients get out of, doing these programs with me, doing the one-on-one VIP days with me. But basically, it's this. Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. That's what they tell me. They've got a life now. Their businesses are flourishing because when they're doing their business, they're doing their business. And the rest of the time, they're doing their lives. And there's a balance between the two. So if you want to see what my clients have gotten out of it, go on LinkedIn, look me up, and you'll be able to see that. This is what I want to offer everyone that's in the room, is a 30-minute free evaluation session. So just like when I was playing with Ian on Twitter. And it doesn't matter, we can do it on Skype, we can do it on Twitter, we can do it on email, whatever. If you want to have that, get a hold of me, give me your business card, and I'll contact you. The other thing that I do, and I do this all over the world, I just came back from Jamaica doing this, that was interesting, is the VIP day. And this is where you get to spend a day with me, one-on-one. And whether I come to I went to Jamaica because they flew me to Jamaica, It's like, duh, if they're going to fly me to Jamaica, I'm going to go, right? But I don't necessarily do it face-to-face. I do it one-to-one, so that can be over Skype or Uvu or whatever platform you are working on. And we crack your time management challenge once and for all, I promise. And that's why I've been called a guru, because it seems to work. And it seems to work in the long term. I haven't had anyone come back to me and say, hey, that VIP one-on-one day, after 6 months, I was right back where I started. Now, here's the other thing. I do 6 time management coaching sessions to embed what you get on the one-to-one VIP day, so that you can actually start creating stuff and creating your calendar and creating your next 6 months to a year to 2 years in those coaching sessions. I'm really excited because that implements your results into your business and your daily life. I'm really excited. I have a new website. I'm so happy. People used to ask me about my website, and I was like, no, don't go there. It was old, it was outdated, it was awful. So I did a trade-off with my my graphic designer, so I coached him, and he got me a new website. And it's synergy-people.com. All right, so that's the website, and I also have a new email, which is info@synergy-people.com. You can also see my phone number is there. The phone number, I would prefer that you send me a text because I am now in the United States and I'm going to, be operating from another phone number from the States, but I can always get text messages from that phone number. So I just want to say, okay, phew, I'm done. I think I stuck to time as much as I possibly could, and thank you all for your attention and for playing along, and I look forward to talking to you guys. Thanks.
Brilliant. Oh, that was brilliant, wasn't it?